Hey there guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Galaxy Note 10 Plus in 2022. Alright, now to give you some specs on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So this phone was released back in August of 2019. It originally shipped with Android 9 Pie, and it is actually currently up to date on Android 12. So the T-Mobile variant that I have here just got Android 12 with One UI 4.0. So that's pretty impressive that we now have 3 versions of Android on this phone. Now the Note 10 series did come in a couple different variants. So you could get the traditional Note 10, which is a little bit smaller than this one, the Note 10 Plus. You also had 2 5G versions of both of those. So you had the Note 10 5G as well as the Note 10 Plus 5G. And in January of 2020, they came out with a Note 10 Lite, which is just a light version of the regular Note 10. Now the traditional Note actually came in 5 different colors, but you only got 4 different color choices if you got the Note 10 Plus or the Note 10 Plus 5G. Those colors are Aura Glow, Aura Black, Aura White, and Aura Blue. I'm sure you're wondering which color I got here. It's actually my favorite one, the Aura Glow. And if you haven't seen one of these in person, it is a gorgeous color, and I'm really sad that Samsung doesn't do this color anymore. They do kind of more pastel colors that are matte finishes, and I just think this one personally is one of the most gorgeous colors on a phone, and I really wish they would do this color again. So, hey Samsung, bring this color back. Also, that Aura Blue is pretty fire too, so yeah. On the front of this massive phone, we have a 6.8-inch Quad HD Plus AMOLED display. They call it an Infinity O display, and it comes in a resolution of 3040 by 1440. Has 498 pixels per inch, and it's HDR10 Plus certified. For our front camera, as you can see, we do have a punch hole style camera. It is exactly the same on the Note 10, so it is a 10 megapixel selfie shooter, has a field of view of 80 degrees, and an aperture of f2.2. Offers live focus and live focus video. And as for our rear cameras, we do have a triple camera setup on the back. To the left here, we have a flash as well as some sensors. So the first camera we have is an ultra wide sensor. It's a 16 megapixel sensor with a field of view of 123 degrees. You have an f2.2 aperture. Our second camera is a 12 megapixel wide angle camera that has super speed dual pixel autofocus with optical image stabilization. Field of view of 77 degrees. You have dual aperture. So you have an f1.5 as well as f2.4. For our third camera, you also have a 12 megapixel telephoto camera that has optical image stabilization as well. Field of view of 45 degrees with an f2.1 aperture. And they do say it has a fourth camera, so it has a VGA camera for depth vision as well. You have your flash on there as well. And I believe the cameras on these are exactly the same on the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. Now, good thing about this, both front and rear cameras are capable of 4K recording at 60 frames per second. Now, in the camera app, we do have quite a few different camera modes. So as you can see, we have AR Doodle, Pro, Panorama, Food, Night, Portrait, Portrait Video, Pro Video, Super Slow-Mo, Slow Motion, and Hyperlapse. You also have Bixby Vision and AR Zone, so you have quite a few different options for the camera. One of the big differences between the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus is obviously going to be screen size, but not only that, the battery size as well. So the battery of the Note 10 is 3,500 milliamp hours, and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus and Note 10 Plus 5G have 4,300 milliamp hours. However, if the 5G version is the same, it probably has worse battery life, just considering it's one of the earlier 5G phones. Now, of course, both of these are going to be capable of wired and wireless charging. So for wired charging, you can use super fast charging, which is capable of 45 watt charging. And then you do have fast charging 2.0 with wireless power share. So you can actually place headphones or another phone on the back of this and share your battery with another device, which is a super cool feature. Really like that. Now, the one I have here is just the LTE variant, but the 5G variant does offer sub-6 and millimeter wave for 5G. So you can get the actual fastest 5G available on the Note 10 Plus 5G as well as the Note 10 5G. As for other connectivity, you do have Wi-Fi on this. So of course you can get Wi-Fi 802.11a, B, G, N, AC, and AX, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And it can offer up to 1.2 gigabits download and 1.2 gigabits upload. So the fastest Wi-Fi you can find, you can use on your Note 10 Plus. You also have Bluetooth version 5.0. As for storage on this phone, the Note 10 Plus gets 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. The Note 10, that one gets 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs. The Note 10 5G gets a little extra RAM at 12 gigs. And then the Note 10 Plus 5G gets the most, 512 gigs of storage, as well as 12 gigs of RAM. Now they are all expandable with micro SD up to 1 terabyte, so you can expand that. And all the Note series are actually IP68 water resistant, water and dust resistant. However, the one I have here, as you can see, it has a crack here. So this one is not water resistant, unfortunately, anymore. But if you were to buy one of these, you can, get water on it and it'll still be fine. And while international variants of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 series will get the Exynos chip, this model is a T-Mobile American model, and this one gets the Snapdragon 855 processor. Now for security, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus does have a face unlock as well as a fingerprint scanner underneath the display. And as you can see, it works pretty well. All right, just to show you how fast the face unlock is, I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. So as you can see, it's pretty quick. You just watch the little lock symbol. Bam, there you go. Unlocks pretty quickly. Of course, it would not be a Galaxy Note without mentioning the S Pen. So you do have the S Pen. You've got some quick notes you can do here, so you can create note, all that good stuff. And this one is blue with the Aura Glow color. All right, and of course I want to show you what comes in the box. If you did happen to buy this new, you can see what would come in here. So as you can see on the box, we have a very simple S Pen in blue right there, Note 10 Plus branding. This is T-Mobile, of course, they had to add their sticker on there. Blank on this side, blank on this side. Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus on the side. It does tell you what it includes. So of course it would come with the phone itself, the S Pen, your wall charger, headset, quick reference guide, and terms and conditions. Now this one's missing something. I believe it's just missing the charger, but we have our documentation here and SIM card tool, which I just dropped, but I can show you that really quick here. So you have your T-Mobile terms and conditions. You have your start guide as well, and then how to transfer from your old Galaxy to your new Galaxy. So all that good stuff. You also would get a little cover for your phone. We do have our super fast charger. So again, that is 45-watt charging. So that is a pretty small brick considering it can do that fast of charging, which is really nice. You do have a transfer, looks like how to transfer your documents. So you have the little OTG thing here. So you do have a USB-A to USB-C, so you can take your old charger and transfer from your other phone, which is nice to see. Now, in addition to that, you would have your cable. I am missing the cable itself. And then you also get some headphones. Now, some of these things you don't get in phones anymore, so you will not get this anymore if you buy a new Samsung Galaxy phone. And you also won't get these. So these are AKG headphones, which are probably pretty nice. Now, they are wired, of course. This is also, I believe, one of the first years that they did away with the headphone jack. So this is a USB-C set of earbuds. And as you can see, they are pretty nice. They do actually have braided, it's a braided cable. They look pretty nice. I'm not sure if they come with any extra tips. They do. So there are some extra tips in the bottom of this little package. So these are probably pretty nice headphones that were included by default, and unfortunately now we don't get that anymore. So if you do happen to get one of these used, maybe you'll get a new nice set of headphones. All right, let's take a quick look at the design of the phone. So as you can see, it's a pretty boxy style versus the Galaxy S series, which is a little bit more rounded. You can see we have this very beautiful 6.8-inch display. We have a punch hole camera at the top. You have minimal bezels all the way around. A lot of phones now don't really have any bezel at all. It's just all screen. The bezel on the bottom is a little bit thicker, which I'm not super fan of. We do have curved display on here. It's not a sharp curve like some other phones, so it actually is pretty comfortable to use the touchscreen on this. Now for screen protectors, that does make kind of a pain in the butt to deal with because you have to use one of these film kind of protectors because glass protectors don't really go over the edges, unfortunately. Now the design is very thin. As you can see, it also tapers on the back as well. So it tapers off on the front and back to meet this kind of point. And the frame of the phone looks super, super thin. The phone itself is actually very thin, and it's the materials they're using is plastic and glass, and it just makes it a very, very thin and comfortable phone. Now on the opposite side, you can see that we still have that same thin frame, but we do have our button placement here. So you have your volume rocker and power / Bixby key here. Now I don't really like this placement. I think they changed that from the Galaxy Note 9. I would rather it be over on this side or have the volume here and the power here so you have a little separation. But this is just how they chose to do it. Now, fortunately, you can reprogram this Bixby button. So if you were to hold down on the volume and the power key, you can actually go here to side key settings. So you can actually have a double press activated so you can quick launch the camera, or you can actually have it open an app, specific one that you want it to open. And then if you press and hold, you can wake Bixby or use the power off menu. So they did add an option. I'm not sure if that was there initially, but it's nice that you can do that. So again, you can double press to access your camera, or you can hold down and then either access Bixby or you can access your power off menu. There's no way to change that to the Google Assistant, which I think some people would prefer, but you can still access, I believe, that at the corner of the phone. Maybe not. Now, these curved displays are kind of a pain too, because they add little tabs on the side where you have to get things. Now, Samsung Pay, there is a tab at the bottom where you can access that easily, and then you have a little tab here that slides over, and you have some recent apps, as well as you can have dual apps that you can access. So you can change this also, and it's actually not too bad to access. So the taper, again, is not horrible, so you can access these things pretty easily. Now on the back, this is one of my favorite colors. So again, I mentioned this is the Aura Glow. They came in really nice colors back then. A lot of the newer phones are just matte. They don't have any real pizzazz to it. And some people don't like this mirrored finish because, as you can see, just from me touching this, it's got fingerprints all over it. But if you don't use a case, this is absolutely just a gorgeous, gorgeous phone. And the camera setup on this is pretty minimal. You do have a little bit of a hump for the camera, a little bump there, so it's actually not too bad compared to newer phones. Camera bumps on these newer phones are just ridiculous, but this is actually very minimal. You do have 3 cameras again, so 16, 12, and 12 megapixel cameras, and then the flash and the other cameras are just integrated into the back housing. So it still looks really nice. I think it just looks very classy. On the top, you can see, now this one has gotten quite a bit scratched, and this is the problem with plastic, is just plastic with the case, it's just gotten scratched off, so the silver just doesn't look good anymore. Have a microphone, I believe 2 microphones here, and then we also have our SIM card tray as well as our SD card tray there. On the bottom of the phone, you can see we have another microphone. We have a little slit for wireless right there. You have your USB-C charger. You have a speaker as well as your S Pen, and that just pops out with a click. And there you go, voila. So as far as software is concerned on this phone, it does come with Android, and initially came with Android 9 Pie. It is now on Android 12 with One UI 4. Now, I don't know how many updates this will get, but I'm pretty impressed that it has the newest version here, and it does seem pretty fluid even with the newest version of Android on here. So you also have some additional things integrated in here. So again, the S Pen, you pop that out, you have some quick things here. Now here it shows you the percentage of battery that the S Pen has. It does have a little click. I honestly have never used one of these before, so you can click on this and create a note. And it does, I'm not sure if it has pressure sensitivity, but seems to work pretty well, and it makes this fun noise when you use this. So if you want to make quick notes, you can also save those. So you can see one I tried before in there. Let me see if I can actually, and you can actually access this little menu here, and this will bring this menu back up. So you can view all your notes. You can do Smart Select, Screen Write. So I think you write on the screen. So if you take a screenshot, you can write on something and send this to somebody, which is pretty nice. So you have a bunch of different options with that. I've never used this before, so I'm really not sure, but people love the Note because you have access to that quickly. And honestly, the phone is still really thin. You have that quick access to that, so that's really nice to have. So the feature focus of this phone was really performance, battery life. The S Pen, you had a lot of AR included in with this. So if we go into our menu, you can see we have AR zone. So here you could do virtual reality. You had emoji stickers. You could have, you can place them in your camera and you can mess around with that kind of stuff. So that's something that was a focus. Obviously you got Bixby in there. You do have Bixby vision in the camera. So what it would do is it would scan the environment and find out what it is. So if you were shopping for something, you could easily find it, which is pretty nice. The cameras on this, of course, are absolutely great. And I'll show you a couple pictures from the camera in just a moment. But you can see, performance on the phone is really, really fluid. And even on Android 12, this thing is just running absolutely fantastic. Now, I haven't signed into it or anything, but you can see we've opened up a couple apps here, and it is just fast as ever. So no matter which app you try to use, it is just going to run absolutely fluidly. No issues at all. Camera is quick. Again, you can double click, pop open your camera. So even in 2022, the performance on this phone is absolutely fantastic. The features of it, I'm not sure if you're going to use AR or virtual reality or any of that stuff, but some people do. I don't personally care about it, but the key features, of course, battery, performance, the S Pen, the cameras, this has all of that down pat. So if that is something you're interested in, this phone is still absolutely great in 2022. All right, now I'm just gonna open up a couple social media apps. I have not signed into them, but I just wanna give you an idea of how quickly these open. Now, again, this phone has 12 gigs of RAM and it has a Snapdragon 855, so it's still perfectly capable in 2022 of dealing with apps. So you probably saw me open up a couple apps just recently where I just went in and opened a bunch of different apps. So we'll just do that right now. So you can open up a bunch of different things. So we have Instagram here, loads up pretty quickly. We have Snapchat, we have Facebook. Facebook is garbage, but that's all right. Twitter, TikTok. So there you go. So it opens everything up really, really quickly. And as you can see, we have all these different things open, so we can go back to one. And it shouldn't even refresh, honestly, because you have 12 gigs of RAM, so there's no reason that it can't hold it in memory. So that is one thing about this phone. You still have that performance, you still have the RAM capability of this phone, so it is still an absolute beast. So you're gonna have no issues with RAM management or any of those things with this phone. All right, so now I wanna give you a quick video and speaker test on this phone. So we do have one speaker at the bottom. Our earpiece does double as a speaker as well. And we have this beautiful OLED display. So I do have a 4K video here with some music. Now, one thing I did notice is that if you put this at full volume, it does kind of rattle the phone just a little bit, but it is plenty loud. So I'll go ahead and give you a quick idea of how this looks and sounds. So as you can see, video on this is still absolutely beautiful. Now you can zoom this in, however you will have that punch hole camera there, but it's still a gorgeous looking display and speakers are pretty good. I just really wish it didn't rattle like that at full volume, but if you turn it down just a little bit, it won't rattle as bad. Now that could be an issue because I have a crack in this display, but it is just probably the construction of the phone that causes that, but still plenty loud and still should be great for consuming content. All right, now I've previously mentioned how great this camera is. So of course you've got plenty of different choices and options with this. It does 4K on both cameras. You have a great zoom on this, 2x optical zoom, 10x digital zoom. So I want to go ahead and give you an idea of how good the camera is. So here are a couple of sample photos and clips from the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Here's a quick sample from the rear camera of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It is capable of doing recording at 4K at 60 frames per second. The rear-facing camera can also use the ultra-wide lens and can zoom up to 10 times, as you can see here. And here's a quick sample from the front-facing camera on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and it does have the capability of 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, if you're looking to buy one of these in 2022, it looks like they start about $330 to $375 right here, depending on the carrier and if it's unlocked or not. Now, they have the LTE model and the 5G model. If you don't really care about 5G, I would still go with the LTE model. I think it's still a pretty good price. And you're getting a lot for the money because, I mean, the phone has a great display, has pretty decent speakers, you have great performance, a lot of RAM, a lot of storage, and absolutely great cameras. So you're getting a lot of good things for the money. So I think it's still worth it in 2022 to get one of these. Now, of course, I would say pay attention to other phones out there. There are a lot of good budget phones out there that offer quite a bit for the money. So for about $400 or $500, you might find a budget phone that offers things that you might want. And of course, it'd be brand new. So if you don't mind getting used, you're definitely gonna get something really, really good. So for example, this phone right here is a T-Mobile model in Aura Glow, good, 256 gigs, 12 gigs RAM, $399, so $400. Now, this one is cracked, so this one's going to sell for a lot less. I would really recommend not buying a cracked phone, obviously, because the display of the phone costs more than the phone itself does to just replace that display. So definitely find one that's not cracked, and find one that is going to be, good for your carrier. But overall, I really think this phone still is absolutely a fantastic value. Performance on it is absolutely great. The camera, the photos, everything, as you saw. I mean, this phone is still a beast. So if you're looking for something like this, definitely check this out. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this quick video on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus in 2022. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.